enjoy tonight. And if you could put your hands together and warmly welcome Magda Szubanski to the stage.
Hello friends, welcome. Thank you so much for coming along. And please make welcome Tenzin Palmo. Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo.
Nice to see you again.
Lovely to see you too. We met out just in the green room out the back, so it's not that long. So, the title of the talk is about Steadfast Peace and the fact that we're living in troubled times. And so I was particularly wanting to ask what it is you feel that your tradition has to offer to people to help them to actually find some sort of sense of calm in these times.
Well, I mean, that's jumping in at the deep end here. I mean, the world that we create is created by our mind. And so if we have an uncontrolled, wild mind, we are going to create an uncontrolled, wild external environment, the world. So why are we, despite how many centuries, millennia of endless wars and depredations, we are still following the same pattern, is because our mind is still untamed, untrained, and wild. So how can we talk about outer peace if there's no inner peace? Right? Yeah. I mean, it's obvious. You know, I mean, well, it's just obvious. I mean, we are projecting outwardly what is inside ourselves. So if we want to actually benefit the world, whatever actions we perform have to be performed from a mind which is not filled with greed and aggression and the desire to overcome and conquer something which is externally perceived as being the problem, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the problem actually isn't out there. The problem is inside all of us and our own mind. So it's not that we just sit there and think, may all beings be well and happy, may all beings be well and happy, which is good. You know, it doesn't hurt to sit and think, may all beings be well and happy. But from that kind of mindset to go out and think how to make beings more well and happy. But if we go out thinking, I'm right, you're wrong, you're the problem, I'm the solution, then there's always going to be conflict.
Even when we're dealing with a Donald Trump?
Even with the Donald Trumps, I mean, even Donald Trump has Buddha nature.
Even Donald Trump?
Even Donald Trump has Buddha nature.
Oh, you're pushing it there.
I know, but I always say to yourself, even Donald Trump has Buddha nature.
Yeah. Because I think the thing is we feel sometimes that it's not a projection, that some of these things, the election of Trump, the fact of terrorism, you know...
Yeah, but that all stems from people's minds.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, why is there terrorism? Why do people admire Trump? Who is admiring Trump? It's the mind of beings which are admiring Trump.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it's not that it's just him. I mean, it's all the people around who are supporting. Just as with terrorism, it's because they are cultivating people whose mind are filled with anger and filled with a sense of their own individual righteousness. You know? So again, it's all based on conflict. The conflict outside comes from the conflict inside.
Do you think that there's, I know it's sort of a bit trendy, the wave of mindfulness that's going around. It's almost like a Mexican wave, isn't it, that's catching on everywhere.
Well, the worst things to be infectious and a bit of mindfulness.
Yes. Do you think that that is, in some ways, actually shifting consciousness at all, so that people project a little bit less than they have in the past?
Kisa, we hope. At least the idea that people are interested in becoming more aware, becoming more mindful, becoming more present, becoming more conscious, has to be a good thing. The Buddha said that mindfulness is like salt in all the curries. In other words, it's what gives taste to our lives. You know, mindfulness in all directions. And it's not just for Buddhists. You know, I mean, to become, what does it mean to be mindful? What it means here is just that we stop dwelling so much in the past, we stop anticipating so much in the future. What is happening right now, not only outwardly, but inside our own minds, we are conscious of. We become more aware. We become more present. We have presence. That has to be a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, even I think Western science is catching up now. I've sort of been following a reputable podcast, and it's Northeastern University, I think, in the States, and they're doing research about the construction of emotions, the way that they are made. And it's not that just they inhabit us, that we have them, but that actually the thinking mind, science is now actually starting to say this constructs emotions, that there are 4 basic states: pleasantness, unpleasantness, arousal and calm. And absolutely everything else, sadness, fear, anger, is a story that we tell ourselves. Does that sound compatible with...
Yeah, I mean, in Buddhism, of course, there are the 3 basic unwholesome states of mind, which come in every time the sense doors perceive something, meaning the eyes, the ears, the taste, touch, and the mind door, then automatically there is a pain-pleasure reaction. You know, we like it, we don't like it. Automatically it comes. And we're all usually not even conscious of that, you know. But immediately when that thought pattern arises, I like it, I don't like it, it's pleasurable, it's unpleasurable, along with that comes the grasping at what is pleasurable and the aversion towards what is non-pleasurable, or as the third alternative, indifference. You know, there's neither
Is
pleasure
indifference the preferable one?
Indifference to, you know, we're not interested, right? It's not, we don't like it or dislike it, we're simply not interested. So those 3, which are in Buddhism, desire and aversion and ignorance, this basic unknowing quality of the mind, start life in the very beginning. And then that, because we're not aware of it, it builds up. So then you get greed and grasping and attachment, or you get anger, aversion, irritation, annoyance, or a kind of blank, kind of not interested one, a kind of apathy.
That's a sort of nihilism, isn't it? Is that
I mean, it happens moment to moment to moment. This is what we're not usually conscious of. And this is why mindfulness, meaning to really know what's going on in the mind as it arises, without judgment but knowing it, is so essential.
And is that
practice.
a feeling state or an intellectual state?
It's a knowing state.
Right.
It's not intellectual and it's not emotional. It's just knowing. It's like, you know, if you have the sky and you have clouds and you have rainbows and you have thunder, but the space itself is not contaminated.
So there's no sort of a feeling state that... Because I know I actually meditate more than I let on, I do, and I can feel... I can sometimes have feelings of bliss or joy.
Yeah,
Are
but
they...
those are just feelings.
Right, so they're not the main game.
Yeah.
Right.
You can have fear, anxiety. That's also rare. You know,
Right.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
not the point. The point is the rising of awareness in the mind. Normally we're thinking and feeling so much, we only see the clouds, we don't see the sky.
Yeah. But to what end do you...
This is why Trump has Buddha nature.
Right.
Because he does have the sky.
Right.
He just doesn't see it.
There's a lot of clouds.
There's a lot of monsoon.
I think he can't
Big,
see past
thick
the
black
hair.
clouds. But those black clouds could not arise if there was not a sky, if there was not space.
So I think that's one of the things. I think there are a few obstacles for lay
Just
people.
a few.
Just a few for him, but for many of us. One of them is the sort of practicalities of, I know for myself, like I intend to meditate and practice more often, but I seem only to be able to do it when I'm relaxed and on holiday. when I'm working and really stressed and tired is when I most struggle to do it, because I either fall asleep or I'm so antsy I just can't settle down. So for those of us who are, not perhaps experts in the field, are there any things that we can do that can mitigate against that, to help us to, in the time when we actually need it, be able to quiet the mind?
Well, I mean, one very simple method is the awareness of the breath. The awareness of the breath is important, first of all, because we all breathe, and normally we're not even conscious that we're breathing, but we are breathing, of course. And we cannot breathe in the past or in the future. We only can breathe now, right? So if our mind connects with the breath and is aware of the coming and going of the breath, in that moment we're present. Now the ego, this sense of I, which is so strong in most of our thinking and our emotional responses, cannot exist in the present. It can only exist in the past or in the future, or thinking about the present, commenting on it, judging it, remembering something else, and so forth. But just to be absolutely nakedly present in the moment as it appears without judgment, that is not ego. So when there is no ego, naturally the mind becomes more open and expansive and calm. It's a very simple thing. And so if you're all agitated, just take a few deep breaths and then just be, just for a few minutes.
Well, I hyperventilate when I'm so... drilling on my breath makes me more anxious.
Slow breath.
Slow breath.
Slow, deep breath. And then just breathe normally and just follow the breath without commenting,
Yeah.
And it doesn't take time. All it takes is application, because we don't remember to do it. In actually, the word mindfulness in Sanskrit is smriti, and in Tibetan is trempa, and both the meaning actually is to remember. It's not mindfulness, it's to remember. And what you've got to remember is to be where you are, which is normally what we forget.
Yeah.
Right? So all we have to do is to remember to remember.
Yes, yeah. Which is...
To bring ourselves back.
Sorry, yeah. I have to set my alarm on my phone or something to...
Well, that's the other thing you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, Thich Nhat Hanh, the great Vietnamese master, he has this system of mindfulness bells, and you can get them on your app, on your phone, and it just goes... And I mean, he does it, and then you just stop.
Yeah.
Just for a few seconds. In this moment, what is the body doing? How does it feel? In this moment, what is the contents of the mind? How am I feeling? In this moment, without judgment, but knowing, being aware. And then just being aware of being aware.